you are. Look how beautiful you look in your sweater. You look stoned. Have you been experimenting with the ganja? Hello, everybody. Quick announcement. A couple weeks ago, Cliff had a procedure in order to help treat his neuropathy. Tomorrow he has surgery, and in 2 more weeks he will have another surgery. Yay! That means life's crazy around here, and we're just trying to survive. With that said, I have a full roster of videos planned for the month. However, if I end up having fewer bonus videos than usual, or I miss a week, you know why. I appreciate your understanding, and if you don't understand, you're a dick. On to the next. In December is still underway. This is what my bingo board currently looks like. I haven't had time to read lately, what with all the surgeries going on. So instead, I've been reviewing self-published books that I have read previously, but hadn't yet had a chance to review. If you didn't know that you could do that in December, now you know. On to the topic. Today I am talking about one of your most requested topics, and that is pacing. It can be difficult to determine the rhythm and flow of your novel, and sometimes it's hard to tell if a scene that you've written is too fast or too slow, given the circumstances and content. I've personally put a lot of time and effort into honing my skill set in this area, so now I'm breaking down the top 10 tips that I've learned for pacing your novel. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video. No, it's not Buttercup. She's just here to be cute. My good friends over at Skillshare have generously sponsored today's video. They make it so much easier for me to produce regular free content for you guys, and I am eternally grateful to them. If you're not familiar, Skillshare is an online learning platform geared specifically toward creators that features over 17,000 classes in a wide range of topics, including writing, business, web design, the works. I'm personally fond of their marketing classes. I've actually got 2 marketing classes for authors available on Skillshare right now, so you should definitely check them out. They're pretty awesome, I'm just saying. I'm a big fan of Skillshare. I used their platform even before they sponsored me, and I just really appreciate the fact that they are so supportive of creators of all kinds. Skillshare's got a special gift just for you guys. Stick around until the end of this video for details. First, let's perfect the rhythm and flow of your novel with these 10 super awesome, super amazing tips. Number 1, consider the structure. This one's really simple because you've already made an outline, right? Once you have an outline, it's a lot easier to see the overall structure of your novel, and in turn, it's easier to map out the pacing. You don't want your novel to feel like a continuous series of fast moments, because then it'll seem rushed and exhausting. But you also don't want it to be continuously slow, because that's boring. Instead, your novel should be a roller coaster of low points and high points, as well as slow points and fast points, weaving in and out of one another. So analyze your outline. Are there too many fast points with 0 interruption? If that's the case, fiddle with the structure and see if you can break it up with something slower. Number 2, consider the character's point of view. A lot of writers get so caught up in their own head, they forget to think about the character's experience. If a moment feels slow to the character, it's appropriate for the pace to be slow as well. On the flip side, if the moment feels fast, then the pacing should reflect that. Take, for example, an explosion. Your character's heart rate is up. People are running. It's absolute chaos. If you're writing a scene like this at a slow pace, it's gonna feel like everything's happening in slow motion, which is probably the exact opposite of what you want. Then there are times when you do want things to happen in slow motion, because that's how it feels to the character. Maybe their boyfriend just said, "I love you" for the first time, or their dad died and it feels like time has suddenly stopped. If the moment feels slow for the character, it should have a slower pace in the story as well. Number 3, sentences. Sentence structure can do a world of good or a whole lot of damage to the pacing of your novel. If you want to avoid issues, there's one simple rule you gotta follow. Longer sentences go in slower paced scenes, and shorter sentences go in fast scenes. Please keep in mind, it's extremely important to vary your sentence structure throughout your entire novel, or else your scenes are gonna read as repetitive and choppy. No one's saying you can't have a few long sentences in a fast scene or a few short sentences in a slow scene. This is just a general rule of thumb. Number 4, details. Much like the last point, if you're writing a slower paced scene, you heighten the details, and if you're writing a fast scene, you rein them in. If your character is experiencing their first kiss, this is usually a slower, sensual moment. So you can take your time describing the feeling of their lips pressed together, their heart rate, their wavered breathing. But if you were to give the same amount of detail to a fight scene, this would be really awkward. This is an issue that a lot of writers have when it comes to action. They feel the need to describe every movement and every maneuver and every detail. Not only is this boring as hell, it significantly slows down the pace. Remember your character's point of view. Fight scenes move fast, which means they're not going to remember every single movement or notice every detail. Focus on the most necessary visceral components and save the word dumps for the slower scenes. Number 5, ditch the filler. No one cares about your main character's 9-to-5 job, and no one cares about that one time your villain was rejected by that one girl in the 5th grade. This shit is filler. It does absolutely nothing for the plot, but the author includes it because why the hell not? Problem is, it slows down the story to a glacial pace, and you do not want that. The reader should not be constantly slogging through unnecessary details, so ditch the filler. I know you love it, but no one else does, and it's not doing you any favors. Number 6, ditch filter words. Filter words are typically verbs that filter the reader's experience through the main characters, hence the name. See, hear, realize, think, decide, know. These are all filter words. Now, every once in a while, a filter word has its place, but most of the time they just distance the reader from the story itself. On top of that, they slow the pacing of the story, especially in scenes that are not supposed to be slow at all. 9 times out of 10, you don't need to filter the story through the main character's experience, because the reader already knows that the main character is experiencing all of this stuff. So instead of saying, she wondered if her mom was dead, just say, was her mom dead? Instead of saying, she saw blue sky far ahead, just say, blue sky stretched far ahead. Number 7, consider the speed of the conversation. If your characters are having a relaxed conversation, this will probably be a slower paced scene. You can take advantage of this by adding narrative to the mix. Describe their body language or their facial expressions or changes to the setting around them. If the dialogue is firing off, say for example an argument, this is a fast-paced scene, so you're going to want to keep the narrative to a minimum. Tell the reader what they absolutely need to know, like who is speaking or any relevant actions. Body language and facial expressions should be written sparingly and only when they paint a very important visual. Number 8, cliffhangers. The goal behind pacing is to keep the reader interested without having long lulls or without making the story feel rushed. And ending the chapter with a cliffhanger is the perfect way to address both of these issues. First off, cliffhangers keep the story moving. The reader is not going to want to put the book down because they need to know what happens next. Second, a cliffhanger doesn't have to be life or death or fast-paced at all. It could be a conversation ending in a surprising way or a sudden kiss. Implementing cliffhangers at the end of your chapters will get readers turning the pages, and you can do this without turning your story into one massive heart attack. Number 9, keep it moving. A lot of people struggle to differentiate filler from transitions. Sure, your character's school life may not be pertinent to the plot, but sometimes you gotta mention it for the sake of realism. You haven't forgotten the fact that your character is a teenager in high school. They may be slaying vampires, but they do have finals next week. So mention this stuff in brief transitions and keep it moving. Focus on moving your story from plot point to plot point. If weeks happen in between, then explain it in a short transition, a paragraph at most. The readers know your characters have lives outside of the story, and they appreciate you acknowledging it, but they also don't give a shit. And number 10, get feedback. Beta readers and critique partners exist for a reason, and that's to make your story suck less. Sometimes we're too close to our stories, and something that feels impactful to us may seem incredibly dull to someone else. So ask other people about your pacing. If they throw out words like dragged, or rushed, or sloppy, or boring, you done fucked up. So that's all we got for you today. Pacing can be a pain in the ass, but if you implement these 10 tactics, you'll be on the right track. A huge thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Not only are they so supportive of my channel and my writing, but they're just such an amazing resource for creators. And as a creator, I really appreciate that. It's not easy to be a creator. We need all the help we can get.
Is it hard out there for you, Butterboo?
If you'd like to check them out, now is the perfect time to do so because Skillshare is offering 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free to the first 500 people who click the activation link below. That's tens of thousands of classes that you can take for up to 2 months completely for free. I highly recommend it, obviously, because I have my own classes there and because I take classes there. So clearly I'm a fan. Click the link, do yourself a solid. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Wednesdays, and if you want to be alerted as soon as I upload, all you gotta do is ring that bell. Ring that bell. All you gotta do is ring that bell. Buttercup already rang that bell. What you gonna do? You're gonna ring that bell. The Savior's Champion is available in ebook, paperback, hardback, and signed hardback. You should totally pick up a copy for you. You can pick up a copy for your friends. You can pick up a copy for your family. I don't care, just buy it. Okay? And be sure to follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, and of course you can tweet me at Jenna Moreci.
Bye!
She loves it when I bounce her. She's just going to sleep.
I know it's warm and it makes you sleepy.